Okay, welcome everybody tonight to the City of Aiken Planning Commission meeting for Tuesday, September 10th, 2024. This is the regular 6 o'clock meeting. I'm going to read really quickly the guidelines for public comments for the City of Aiken Planning Commission meetings. Meetings are public forums in which many opinions are expressed and the business of the city must be conducted. As such, disciplined, honorable, and professional decorum is paramount. Courteous and respectful communication is required. During public comment periods of the meeting, all questions and statements from the public shall be directed to the chairman. If you wish to speak, please raise your hand and the chairman will recognize you. Please approach the podium and state your name and address for the record. And in order to allow an opportunity for everyone who wishes to address this commission, speakers should limit their comments to the agenda item or the application being discussed. Each speaker will be given 5 minutes to address an issue and may only address an issue once unless questions from the commission are posed to the speakers. We will be running timers when you do speak, so please be cognizant of the time. And if you get to 4 minutes, I'll raise my hand just to give you an opportunity to wrap up your comments. So for the first order of business tonight is the approval of the work session and regular meeting minutes of August 13, 2024. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay, motion was made by Commissioner Simmons and approved by Commissioner Matthews. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, raise your hand. And it passes unanimously.
Yeah, I
You abstained because you weren't here. Okay. The motion passes for the approval of the minutes. Okay, we have no old business tonight, so we'll jump right into new business. This is item A. This is application number 25-20003. This is an annexation request for tax parcel number 122-19-01-002. The applicant is Keith Lawrence, CSRA Development Company. This is located on Powderhouse Road, and this is a residential multifamily development currently in the county, coming in, annexing in the city as planned residential. Is the applicant here tonight to speak on behalf of this? Yes, sir, please.
Keith Lawrence, 656 Bent Creek Drive, Evans, Georgia, 30809. So this project's got a little history associated with it. It actually originally started as a county project. Due to working with them to solve a drainage problem, we worked with them to get the sewer through. The storm sewer actually comes on the low side of the road, and then also working with the city of Aiken on a sanitary project coming back through. We're excited about this one. It's just not just townhomes. It's kind of a master plan. We've got all the amenities. We've got a pool, clubhouse, gardens, walking trails, green space, and it will tie on that kind of the east leg will tie to the future Powderhouse connector, whenever that may be time-wise, on there. And then it's the lower portion, which was originally part of it, was a Dominion Energy purchase for a substation. We think it's going to be a great project. I think the timeline that we're working towards is really tied to the county on their construction of their storm sewer that's got to come through there. Actually worked out really well because it's going to solve a lot of the drainage below a thaw, which I know it realizes in the county and not in the city, but as it's coming closer and closer, may end up in the city on that side. And then working with Mike P. on the sewer, this was upgraded. We upgraded our line size during our construction process. That kind of allowed Mike to get in there and solve a problem behind Cracker Barrel area on that side. So we're excited about it. We think it's going to be a great project for the city. Not looking for any special, exceptions, asking for any special exceptions from you guys. I think it's a great one. It lines directly up with Sanctuary, which has been a great selling neighborhood. Great addition to the city. Will be, I guess, actually probably annexed in next, honestly. And that's the same thing we did when we asked for services on this one. We don't have to do it on this, but we did notify, and it's part of the covenants on that one. We clarified with all the buyers in there that they would be annexed at such time that the line was present for annexation. So we try to be good stewards on the city, and we're excited to bring this one to you guys.
Thank you. Any questions for the applicant from the commissioners? Thank you, sir.
Appreciate you.
Okay, do I have anybody here tonight to speak against this application? Anybody to speak in favor? Any comments? Okay, commissioners, do I have a motion for this application?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, in regards to application, excuse me, number 25-20003, Annexation Tax Parcel Number 122-19-01-002, current county zoning, residential multifamily, and proposed city zoning plan residential. There are no possible condition, and it is consistent with the comprehensive plan. I move that we send this to City Council for review.
Okay, thank you for the motion, Commissioner Matthews. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, second, Commissioner Clarkson. Discussion? All those in favor, raise your hand. And it's unanimous. It passes. Okay, item B. This is application number 25-20004, and this is an annexation request for tax parcel number 106-07-13-002. The applicant is John McMurtrie, Jr. This is 1111 Evans Road. This is a current RC residential single-family conservation in the county, and he wants to annex into the city under RS 15. Is the applicant here tonight to speak on behalf of this application? Okay, seeing none, is there anybody here tonight to speak against this application? Anybody in favor? Any comments? Okay, commissioners, do I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, in regards to application 25-20004, annexation request tax partial 106-07-13-002, I make a motion that we move to City Council for approval.
Okay, have a motion for approval. Do I have a second? Okay, second, Commissioner Messina. Discussion? All those in favor, raise your hand. And the motion passes unanimously. Okay, item C, which is application number 25-20005. This is an annexation request of urban development and light industrial, has been withdrawn by the applicant for further information. So we will not be discussing or voting on item C tonight. The next application we'll jump into is item D. This is a application number 25-50001. This is a city service request. Our tax parcel number 123-15-11-006 and 123-15-13-011. The applicant is Drayton Parker Companies. This is Whiskey Road and Chucker Creek Road. This applicant is requesting city water and sewer for the development of a gas convenience store. Is the applicant here tonight to speak on behalf of this? Yes.
Good afternoon, Cody Rogers, EMC Engineering. I'll be the engineer of record on this project and representing Drayton Parker Companies tonight. Y'all have seen several Parkers now. This is no different than any of the other ones that you've seen. There's nothing special about what we'll be requesting here, and obviously we're just coming to the city right now for water and sewer request. We have met with the city, also met with the county to have pre-apps, actually both last year and this year, as this site kind of got shelved for a little while. So I'm happy to answer any questions you may have, or any questions the public may have.
I want to draw your attention to under the policy on provisions from the city, the utility design compliance items 1 through 3 on this application. Are you aware of those?
Yes, sir. I was actually just reading through those while I was sitting down.
You understand that there's some capacity issues with the sewer, perhaps?
There's some
capacity issues with the sewer. These items here that you've read from city engineering and public utilities.
Right, and just to be sure, we're talking about bullet point 2, utility design compliance.
Correct.
Items
Items
2.
1 through 3. That's right.
Okay.
I just want you to be aware of them. You don't have to comment on them, but I want to make sure you understood that.
I just want to clarify for the record, I did not see anything that indicates any sort of limit on service or limit of capacity in terms of the city wouldn't be able to accept the sewage. It's just more so saying, number 2, that we would need to have a pump station more than likely, or a combination of pump station / gravity, which we were aware of, and we talked about that at the pre-app. So just clarifying that capacity does not mean.
I understand that. That's right.
Okay.
We'll make sure you understand that.
Yes, sir. We're good.
Any other comments or questions from the commissioners for this applicant?
I believe there was a discussion about a possible privacy fence, given the fact that there is some residential areas around that property. One condition that we were considering was adding a privacy fence to that around the border to help out with those residential neighbors abutting up to that property. Is that something that you'd be amenable to?
Yes, and I know we have landscape requirements too, but they're relatively minor. I think it was only a 10-foot landscape strip. But the fence is not required, but it's just something.
No, this would be in addition to the basic requirements.
It would be it will be a condition of acceptance for the city.
Sure,
So,
yes, we'd be open to that.
any other comments or questions for this applicant? Thank you. All right. Anybody here to speak against this application? Yes, sir. Just want to remind everybody to state your name and address, and that you have 5 minutes for your comments.
My name is Darrell Williams. I live at Chucker Creek on the ridge on Buckhart Lane. My concerns are, looking at his plan, I see no information concerning current or upcoming traffic volumes that go through there. I don't know if he's aware, but I've sat at the Dollar General in the corner. I am retired, so I do have a lot of time. During the morning hours, the traffic volume that goes down Whiskey Road at that point and into Chucker Creek for people dropping their students off at the elementary school is excessive. The timing of the street lights between Citadel, Chucker Creek, and Powderhouse needs to be addressed. It needs to be addressed naturally by DOT South Carolina, that it needs to be retimed some way to help alleviate some of the traffic. The other problem comes again between 3:30 and 6 o'clock with the traffic coming out of the plant. You have over 1,252 cars that travel across that intersection, and it looks like by their map, they have exit routes onto Chucker Creek Road, which is gonna cause a problem with traffic flow. You have all the parents picking their kids up from that elementary school trying to come back. They're trying to either make a left or right-hand turn out of Chucker Creek. I've come out of Chucker Creek between those hours, and I have had to sit for 22 minutes to go from Chucker Creek to past Powderhouse, and you've already allowed Lowe's in there, which has picked up additional traffic. I see no traffic estimates in here from their application. And the impact
Sir, just for point of clarity, there is a traffic study here. Yes, sir.
on what point? Which page?
I'm sorry, I apologize. This is on page
2?
3 of the application. Go back to the first page and then flip over on the third, so you can study that. Continue. You can go ahead. I just wanted to draw your attention to that.
Not a problem, not a problem. I don't see where they're showing peak hours, 76 exiting 77, a total of 153. What are their peak hours? Because I've sat here multiple times and counted the cars myself. I would estimate that their estimation is not accurate. There should be some form either by the council or by Aiken Public Services to sit down and actually do an analysis to see what that impact is.
Let me let our planning director comment on that.
Yeah, so 2 things. One, they have to submit a traffic generation statement that looks at peak hours, and I believe it's 7 a.m. to 8 or 8:30 a.m., and then peak hours would be your rush hours again. These are based upon international traffic engineering standards when they generate those peak hours, AM, PM.
Mm-hmm.
They will also do the fact that they do go over our 100 AM, PM peak hour trips. Will also have to do a full traffic impact analysis for this site. So that's just one step, is the traffic generation statement, just so we know, okay, yes, they're going to have to go and delve further into their their traffic study.
And one of the reasons I have the concern, I've seen the Parker House construction that was done over on, I call it Route 1, you guys call it the Jackson Highway. And you can only turn one way coming out of there back onto Jackson Highway. You have to drive around and come back out onto the University Road.
Correct.
Come back out. It's very difficult at certain traffic hours to even exit from there to get on so you can head back into town. So those are my concerns.
Thank you very much. I do want to remind the public that this application is only asking for city services requests. It's not asking for us to approve the layout, the traffic. It's asking for city services, meaning water and sewer. That is what we're voting on tonight, to allow them access to city water and sewer. I just want to make that comment. Okay. Anybody else to speak against this? Yes, sir, in the back.
Good evening, Chairman, Commission, Jacob Ellis, 3 Short Court. Our sewer and water in the city of Aiken is at capacity right now. We keep raising the rates. I don't know how many times within the last year, maybe 3, maybe 4, I lost count. We are at a need of decreasing the amount of building that add sewer and water. So the new Shaw plant that we're building, I can't remember where, that will be greatly helpful. But brown water in the downtown area and all over Aiken is still a major issue. I don't know how many of you have ever had brown water. I had it for the first time this weekend, unfortunately, and I do not recommend it. So before we add more and more and put our sewer and water at fuller strengths, I would appreciate denying this until we get the rest of our issues fixed. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else here to speak against this application? Anybody here to speak in favor of this application? Yes, sir, Dean.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Dean Newman with Maybaum Commercial Properties. I live at 319 Sand Hills Lane in Evans, Georgia. I represent the two owners of the two properties being discussed here, Mr. Waters and Mrs. Morton. I just wanted to make a couple of quick points. First, I travel a good bit around Georgia and South Carolina. I've seen numerous Parker's stores as I travel around. One thing that has impressed me about Parker's is what a good job they do developing the property and how nice the properties look. And a great case in point is the Parker's at Richland Avenue and the Bypass. I've been doing real estate in Aiken for 20 years. I've been driving by the Dick Smith property for 20 years. People have asked me, Dean, when is someone going to do something with the Dick Smith property? And I tried and I tried and I tried. No one would take on that project until Parker's came to town. They demoed all those dilapidated buildings. They developed a beautiful property there that is very useful to the folks in Aiken, and it's very well done. It looks good. I have been in there numerous times, and I also appreciate the fact that their gas prices are the lowest in town also normally, so that's one of the reasons why I like to shop there. So they took an ugly and unsightly property and made something nice, and I can guarantee you on this property it would be something nice as well. Another interesting fact that people have asked me about over the last 20 years is from downtown Aiken to the New Ellington city limits, which is approximately 8.5 miles, there's not one place to get gas on the right-hand side of the road going from downtown Aiken to New Ellington. There's not one convenience store, there's not one gas station in an 8.5 mile corridor, which, considering that that corridor is the busiest commercial corridor in Aiken, the fact that you don't have a convenience store or a place to get gas on the right-hand side of the road, which is the morning traffic going to Savannah Riverside, is really very, very unusual. And so the reason for that, I always tell people, is convenience stores go on hard corners with traffic lights. That's where they go, because it is easier to get in and get out. It's safer getting in and getting out where a traffic light is located. And there aren't that many opportunities between that 8.5 mile corridor at a hard corner with a traffic light. This is one of the few. The final thing that I would state is that I looked at what these two properties are contributing toward our tax revenues and our tax base. The total, including county and city, on these two properties is approximately $4,000. Of course, we don't know what the assessment is going to be on this property once it gets built and once it gets done. But I looked at the closest convenience store on the opposite side of the road, Circle K, at Whiskey and Powderhouse, and the total county and city tax revenue is over $50,000. So if we're looking for ways to generate money to help fund future infrastructure and things that need to be done to increase sewer capacity and those types of things, that revenue, I think, would be very, very helpful to Aiken County and the city of Aiken. So other than that, those are my points, and so we would ask that you would approve this request.
Thank you, Dean.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Okay, anybody else to speak in favor? Any comments? Okay, commissioners, do I have a motion?
With regards to application 25-5001, city service request, tax parcel number 123-15-11-006 and 123-15-13-001, I recommend we move this proposal forward to city council for approval.
Okay, motion for approval, Commissioner Simmons. Do I have a second?
Mr. Chairman, if I may add that we add to one of the possible conditions that a 6 to 8, excuse me, a 6 to 8 foot privacy fence be added to the conditions, possible
Okay,
conditions.
so condition, you'll amend,
Yeah, on the adjacent rubber. Thank you.
so you'll a 6 to 8 privacy fence on adjacent residential property.
Correct.
And so I amend my motion to include that condition.
Okay, so that'll be condition number 10. So your motion will carry forward items 1 through 10, and I need a second.
I'll
on that.
second that now.
Thank you, Carson. Commissioner Carson. Okay, discussion. Okay, all those in favor, raise your hand. And the motion passes unanimously. Okay, we are at item E. This is application number 25-50002. This is a city service request for tax parcel number 123-15-09-002 and number 123-15-09-004. The applicant is Lotus Park Senior Living over on Whiskey Road in Hunters Glen. This current zoning is urban development, and this application is just asking for city water and sewer. Is the applicant here tonight to speak on behalf of this application? Yes, sir.
Yes, my name is David Banks. I'm the consulting engineer on this. I live at 244 Waterville Road in Martinez, Georgia. And I am here representing the owner, who is also here. And we were requesting water and sewer service to this property. It's a senior living project, 55 and older. We feel it's a good fit with their recent project completed in the end of last year. It's the Oaks of Aiken, assisted living facility, and this will be a companion project for them. So I'm here to answer any questions y'all may have.
Okay. Any questions for this applicant from the commission? Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay. Can I speak one time? There was one of the conditions, I know you're gonna.
Yes, sir.
About the traffic study, lane, we fall below the threshold for 100 vehicles per hour. Submitted the ITE numbers on that. And I was just wondering, DOT has given me the agreement that traffic study would not be needed for this project, and I was just request that not be a requirement, because it's just a,
About that.
just a cost, and everybody seems to, I mean, DOT has the right to force us to do a traffic study, and they've declined that. So I'd request that not be included.
My understanding is not a,
Ma'am?
my understanding is not actually a full traffic study. It was a driveway analysis that's being requested, so
Okay,
it's actually more limited in scope.
okay,
It's just something from our traffic consultant that she's brought up.
all right, thank you.
Thank you. All right, anybody here to speak against this application? Oh, yes, sir.
My name is Patrick Duffy. I live at 103 Erskine Square, pretty much directly behind this property. A lot of good information earlier. I didn't know this was only about the water and sewer, but hearing some of the other comments that we should probably fix our water and sewer issues first before creating more problems with them. So in my opinion, before we keep building houses and businesses, we take care of the infrastructure first. Because I'm afraid if not, we'll just completely destroy the infrastructure and not have any place to live for anybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, anybody else to speak against this application? You speak? Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
I'm Linda Holmes, 2505 Old Dominion Road. My husband and my property abuts right at the property. Our line, our back line is right there. And I'm asking you to clarify for me what the buffer, how much of a buffer is between our property and the homes that are to be built, our townhomes.
So even though this is a utility request, it, will be reviewed through the county. However, we do require as part of our utility to have at least a minimum 10-foot buffer, although it looks like it may actually be more, according to their plan that's up there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's currently listed as a 25-foot setback
Yeah.
on the plan.
So
20 foot.
25.
Right.
25.
So at minimum, we would require a 10-foot undisturbed evergreen buffer, but obviously they're doing more.
Okay. This may not be the appropriate time, but can we request a privacy fence as well, like you're talking about for the Parker Kitchen property?
If the commissioners desire, we could place that on as a condition.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay. Any other comments? Okay. I just want to make one comment as the Planning Commission. We are not city engineers, okay? We have no purview on the city infrastructure here. We don't analyze water and sewer capacities. We're here to vote and analyze what's brought before us on these applications. I certainly understand the concerns, but that's not under our purview. We're here tonight to request the applicants whether they get city water and sewer, and it's up to the city engineers and the county engineers to determine that capacity. So I just want to make sure that everybody understands that.
I'm sorry, we do think about these things in terms of capacity, and that was actually a question asked in our work session, and I don't believe there's any, though there was some comments about some infrastructure issues, I don't believe that's been supported by any true concerns that have been raised in terms of capacity.
Yep.
Is that correct?
I mean, obviously, that's going to be up to the county as far as capacity. At this point, it's really not under our jurisdiction to say one way or the other if there's capacity available. So, as far as we know, there is. Right. Yes.
No, sir. We've already made the motion, or we've already had the comment section. You can get with us afterwards, though. Do I have a motion?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, in regards to application number 25-50002, city service request tax parcel number 123-15-09-002 and 123-15-09-004. The applicant is requesting city water and sewer. And I recommend that we send this to city council for review with all 7 possible conditions.
All right, we have a motion for approval, with the conditions items 1 through 7. Commissioner Matthews, do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Messina. All right, discussion.
So the only question I have is the planning and approval for, that's gonna be done through the county. Is that correct, or does this fall under city as well?
It's actually a hybrid review, which makes it nice and complicated, but we have, primarily it is county. However, we will review for certain aspects such as buffers, open space, access management, signage. So we have some limited review and requirements.
And is this the appropriate time to add in the possible conditions for a fence like we did with the Parkers?
You can do so,
You
yes.
can do that.
So I
You would
would-
have to ask Commissioner Matthews to amend his motion.
I'll amend the motion.
Okay, so Commissioner Matthews, do you want to add condition number 8 to include a privacy fence?
Correct.
Similar to the 6 to 8 privacy fence
Yes,
along the residential side.
correct. We'll add that.
I think that may be prudent also as a senior living facility anyway.
Well, this will be on the conditions of approval, so we'll add that to the conditions of approval to make sure that that gets included on their final design. Okay, so I have a motion for approval with conditions 1 through 7, and then a write-in at condition number 8 for a 68 privacy fence along the residential side of the property tract. Do I have a second?
A second.
Okay.
I'll amend my second.
Okay, so we have a second from Commissioner Messina, and now do I have any discussion? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor raise your hand. And the motion passes unanimously. All right, our last item tonight, item F, application number 25-50003, a utility service request has been withdrawn pending a development agreement. So we will not be voting or reviewing this application tonight. That concludes our new business for tonight. Thank you all for coming. I'll make a motion for adjournment.
Second.
Okay, we're adjourned.